Do you need a Leland build that provides incredible team play, as well as very good stat balance to provide good second-to-second gameplay, and even a double stun mechanic that can allow you to get an edge on basically anything, as well as multi-classing the build with the same talent tree? Then I got the build for you. What's up, World Streamer? Back in the video, checking out all things Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Okay, let's just jump right into it, and we got the Leland build today. Yeah, so I finally got this one done. Now, there's a lot of give and take with this one. There's a lot of stuff that we can switch out. So let's go over the full skill tree, and I'll show you what the things that we could swap out and what we'll kind of need. We'll come up through here and to our left. Again, we're not going to take any of this stuff, but we do have to follow this tree. We do want Choose Fight. Choose Fight is a very, very good perk, and it can be utilized with this build and swapped out. We'll come up here, we'll grab Empowered, and we're not going to need it. We'll come up here through the left, and you will only, I believe, is the only random perk that you'll need is this one, is Bomb Squad. Bomb Squad's a really, really good perk to have, especially on this character who's constantly utilizing the Bone Scrap, and so I would grab this one if you can. Come up here through here, we're also going to grab the Taekwondo, which is really, really good if you can get it off. I've had struggles getting this one off, but man, the 12-second stun is just incredible. We'll come up through here, we're going to go ahead and grab Fish Hooks, and then we'll grab Agitator. We'll come up to the right, grab Agitator, and then we'll grab Efficient Grappler. Again, most of these perks we're not going to be utilizing in the build, but it's nice to have, and they're nice to grab. Once you're finished up grabbing all that, you will come through here and grab all these attribute points. This should offer, I think, nearly maximum amount of attribute points he can get. I think it's 29, so I do believe it will get around there, either 25 or 29. So this build is pretty good for that, for the attribute points as well. I'm obviously not all the way to level 10. I could respec one of my other characters and kind of go into this one, but for now, you could see most of the skill tree. We're only really missing attribute points, so it's not a huge ordeal, aside from maybe this fight and flight perk, but you can kind of see the skill tree and what we're taking. So now when we jump over into the actual loadout here, this is where we can kind of mix and match things. And the Taekwondo, again, is a really, really good perk. I've had struggles getting it to activate, but I have noticed some people getting it to work. It can kind of vary. I don't think you can get it on the big guy or Leatherface, but it is a really good perk when you can get it off. So this is definitely one that you could swap out if you feel like it's not being utilized enough. Now, Bomb Squad, I really do enjoy Bomb Squad here. The reason why is that the Bone Scrap just essentially allows you to basically always be doing something. You're always kind of making it nice for your teammates. Now, even though there's not a lot of those charms up above in the second floor, it does help down on the bottom floor, and it does help your teammates out. It's basically a total utility mechanic, and honestly, Leland is really, he's mostly utility. He's not really going to be unlocking doors or doing anything aside from maybe jamming or unjamming rather the generator, or jamming the generator and kind of doing that stuff that requires a little bit of strength. However, most of the stuff that Leland's going to be doing is kind of just going around trying to, you know, trick either the enemy or whatever he has, or kind of distract them in a way so he can stun them. There's a lot of different things there. And so what you could switch out for either Bomb Squad or Taekwondo, or even this third one, which is Agitator. Agitator is really, really good for Grandpa. He gets way too up highs in levels, and as soon as he gets to level 5 or level 4 rather, he just is impossible to deal with. At that point, the game is basically over, so you really do have to be reducing his levels. I've noticed that games can, if they go that far, it's basically done so at that point. So you really do want to use Agitator. In my mind, it's kind of like a must-have perk there. So again, swap out the Taekwondo. We can also take Choose Fight here. My problem with Choose Fight here is that I've kind of noticed that it doesn't really matter how long you stun them for, or at least the stun in the Choose Fight. It doesn't really give you enough of an where you're kind of getting away. It's only really the edge cases that provide this kind of utility manner. What I've found out is engaging in these close encounters actually leads to more losses, in my opinion, and the reason being is that it's just not a good perk to utilize. A lot of times multiple enemies are around each other, or multiple of the family are around each other, and so you can't really do anything. You can't engage in it. It's hard to get there is one here also, Fish Hooks. It's hard to get the stealth attacks off unless you're actually using the barge to stun them, or the Lifesaver to stun them. However, as you'll notice here, and why I want to explain why we're not utilizing the double stun mechanic here, is because if we do get this level 1 barge perk here, they will be stunned for 10 seconds. Now, I've noticed for some reason they don't always get stunned for 10 seconds. I'm not sure if it has to do with Sissy, because she seemed like she didn't get stunned for 10 seconds. I think I have a clip that like she only got stunned for, it seemed like 4 or 5 seconds. Maybe they have reduced timing there. However, this is going to be utilized a lot, and so that's kind of my reasoning on why I don't go for the double stun mechanic. However, if you want to, what you could do and get rid of is Taekwondo. You could go ahead and take Choose Flight, and then you could also either get rid of Agitator or Bomb Squad, and then you could take fish hooks. Now this is the double stun mechanic here, so you'll get the double stun off. What you'll essentially do is you'll barge an enemy, and then you'll get behind them. Once they get picked back up, then you'll go for the sneak attack. This will allocate way more time. You're going to get basically a double stun here, so it'll go from 10 seconds into a 15-second stun once you have this fully maxed. And then you'll also reduce their stamina, so their stamina is even reduced even further, and that lasts for 30 seconds. This can be a really good combo, and so you can take this. However, what I've noticed is that when you get the first barge off and you get the stun off, the close encounter, it can be done. However, they usually make a call out for the other family member to get there, and so you're waiting 5 to 10 seconds there for them to get back up and to get that sneak attack. It just isn't really worth it. It's also really hard to get a sneak attack in general, at least I've kind of found out, unless you're coming right out of the kind of hiding and they're coming by you. But again, this is a good swap out, and this is what I mean. Our skill tree allows us to swap out both of these abilities here. We'll come back, we'll take Taekwondo, and we'll take the Bomb Squad again. I find that's really good. But let's jump into the actual ability of Lifesaver here and why we're taking this route here. So what I've kind of going through here is that these are only adding a second to each thing here, so you're really going to want to skip these. I wouldn't go here for this. We'll go up here and we'll get the stamina restore, so we'll get the 60 stamina restore, and then we really desperately want this ability to be recharged as quickly as possible so that we can get more stuns off. 120-second recharge rate compared to its level 1, which is, I believe, is 166 or 60-ish seconds here. That's a 40-second drop off. That's incredible amount of CD reduction there. In any other game, this would be considered a must take, so it is for this game as well. And so what we'll do is we'll come up through here, we'll take the increased stun for level 1, then level 2 we'll go for the barging to give 60 stamina restore, and then we'll come up into here to grab the 120-second recharge rate, which I do think is going to play out very well. I have been trying to level these characters as fast as possible. As you know, my last build guide was for Julie, so bear in mind I don't have this fully leveled and maxed yet. But coming down into the toughness, endurance, and all the stats right here, his proficiency is terrible. So proficiency wise, it's just, there's no point to add points into it. I kind of found out it's just bad, and when you're grabbing stuff, you might as well make all the noise anyways. He's the distraction. He needs to be a distraction anyways, so make all the noise. You might wake up grandpa, that's fine, it's not a big deal, but you kind of just got to do what you got to do. So at the beginning, I just kind of grab as fast as I can. I just mash my E button and just grab quickly because his proficiency is so bad, it just takes too long. There's no point in wasting time. We're gonna max out strength here because this adds a ton for our stun ratio. This adds a ton for us performing tasks like opening crawl spaces or disabling generators, or kind of getting those things so that you can get out of the map. Again, he's very utilitarian based. And then once we get this 50 point here into strength, we'll go ahead and we'll kind of mix and match between endurance and toughness. And the reason being is because his toughness is terrible. His survivability rate is really bad. He takes a lot of damage. He really doesn't have a good survivability rate, so we do want to kind of pump numbers into it if we can. And then endurance, he's really bad at running, so we also do need to pump numbers into his endurance. I would kind of switch back off between here, endurance and toughness, until you get to level 10 and kind of get these to around 40-ish for endurance and maybe about 30-35 for toughness, as you can still find health pots downstairs when you do well drops, so it's not a big deal. However, you do kind of want the endurance and toughness up there. Should cover it overall for this build guide. If you like and subscribe, and until the next one, deuces.